We are headed up to the Chugach mountain range to climb Pioneer Peak on our last day here in Alaska. Yesterday was a mad scramble to see and do as much as possible. We woke up in the Denali cabins, and then kind of on a whim, just late the night before, we decided to take a flight around Denali.
We're on de Havilland today. Is it an otter, Krista?
Yeah.
Okay, just to start the day, weather's super good here in Denali, so we're gonna go up and check out the mountain on the otter this morning. So, how is this for a runway right here? We're just below Denali and Foraker. We're in the Alaska range, and check this out. Look at this runway. This is so freaking cool. We're gonna take this otter back around the whole range.
We got to go see the Alaskan range. That was enough for me. That's a full day's activity, but not for everyone else. And so Danny and Matt started talking about finding a run to do because doing a big run today wasn't enough. We needed to squeeze something in between the awesome flight up to the glacier and our big day today. So they found this run out to Portage that had very little description other than a bunch of people said it was cool, but it looked like not many people had gone all the way out to the glacier because you have to ford a moderate stream. I'd say, you know, I wouldn't take my kids across it, but any capable outdoors person could probably get across it without any problem. So we went out there, and in times like these, you know, Matt and Danny get in their frantic frenzy of squeezing every amount of daylight out of the day, and lucky for me, we're in Alaska and it doesn't get dark till 11 o'clock at night, so I get drug along on extra bonus activities. But I have learned to not resist. I might roll my eyes, I might sigh, but I don't resist, and I go along because 9 times out of 10, it turns out being awesome, and it was awesome. We found some ice caves, it was just this really cool area.
We are now a couple hours south of Anchorage, or maybe an hour south of Portage. Been on like a full-on blitz of Alaska, seeing the coolest things. Absolutely amazing. We're gonna go check out these ice caves now. I think that's just cool how you have a plan to do something one day and then you just make a last minute decision to try something new. And we only had a couple hours of light left, but we ran as fast as we could up here, and like huge payoff. Like if you keep charging, our day could have ended. Most people would be eating dinner right now and said they had the coolest day, but you decide when cool ends, right?
This is a 6-mile hike, maybe 7 miles, and I don't know where else you can get so close to something so cool so quickly. But yeah, we drove here as quick as we could and rolled the dice on a hike that we had heard about from a friend. And everything's coming up. Team Danny, Matt, and Christoph.
We woke up today, grabbed our Mickey D's, and we're here at the trailhead for a 7,500 foot-ish kind of steep climb up to one of the cool peaks around here.
Now, of course, everything we've read about this trailhead, most people have seen bears. So I know we're gonna be short on water, but I've opted less water, more spray. Less water, more spray.
Four 4,000 feet up and out of the brush. Nothing feels better than exiting the brush. We're up here on the trail. Ridge is in front of us. Peak is beyond us right here to the right. Beautiful day. I'm sure that I'm gonna get comments from native Alaskans telling me how lucky I am, and I can appreciate that. But to be honest, we sat around for a couple months and watching the weather to make this happen like it did. Even though the weather can change at any moment, we tried to play the odds in our favor. Beautiful day here in the Chugach Mountains, and I'm looking forward to a ridge scramble in a place I've never been. But I'm gonna push on. Big day of climbing ahead.
This is our last day, so we're trying to make the most of it. Denali gravel bike was our main dish. And then we had 3 side dishes, you know, small light side dishes, a little bit of glacier, a little bit of fly, and a little bit of hike. So we really got a good taste of, you know, the Anchorage area, and I love it.
Top of, I think it's South Pioneer Peak, and hanging out while Danny and Matt make a run at North. I decided that I'm going to end my Alaskan adventure week with enjoying my Red Bull and candy bar and let them feed their peaking addiction by trying to route find their way up on this unmarked peak just north of us.
Right behind me is Pioneer Peak, where everybody stops. In front of us is also Pioneer Peak, but this is the higher peak. We were told when we got to that peak that we couldn't make it to this peak, so of course Matt started charging ahead and I followed. Christoph stayed behind. There's an abandoned backpack here, so that's disconcerting. Hopefully we don't find anyone in distress, but we're gonna scramble up this, hopefully fast enough to impress the people who doubted us. Nothing like someone doubting you to make you want to do something.
We came to a sub-summit, you know, a fault summit on Pioneer Peak, and everyone was stopped there, and a guy said, yeah, this is the end of the trail. No one goes down to that peak. It's just a climbers only route. You got to bring equipment and whatnot. So understandably so, I can see why. But we decided to come up and climb it anyway. It was just fine, just a little scramble. Anyway, I found this little PVC pipe right here, and it has a little note in here, and it's kind of cool. It says, this prominent mountain dominates the skyline of Lower Matanuska Valley and has been a popular target for mountaineers since at least 1953. Many a prospective climber has found himself cursing the dense devil's club that guards the approaches of all the valleys. We didn't have that. One may wander into another standard route. Likewise, many would-be summit hounds have stopped short of the true summit rather than brave the traverse counterpoint. Cool.
Matt and I made it to the top of the real Pioneer Peak, and the scramble between the two was utter joy. It was the highlight of the day for sure. The people at the other peak said it couldn't be done, and hopefully they hadn't left by the time we proved them wrong. I know, pride cometh before the fall. I've got 7,000 feet of climbing. We have a little bit more to get back to the other peak, and I have a total of almost 8 miles. It was only 3/4 of a mile from that peak over to here. 3/4 of loose rock bliss. Back on Pioneer Peak Junior. Had to do a couple hundred feet of loose rock, which will wake up the legs. We've caught back up to Christoph, and he said he's had nothing but a good nature soak, so he's happy. Matt's running ahead. He's obsessed with getting 8,000 feet of vert, so he's a man on a mission. But you can see the peaks behind me. That's the south summit, and that's the north. And you know, some loose, scary scrambling to get to the north, but well worth it. And Christoph got what he wanted, a nice relaxing day. He said he took off his shirt and his shoes. Does it get any better than a mountain sunbathing outing? Right now, all we have left is about 5,000 feet of downhill, which we'll pay for later. And I'm really counting on bionic knees being a thing by the time mine implode.
All right, we're down. That was great. That was a great way to end an awesome week in Alaska.
If you're ever in Anchorage, Pioneer Peak is well worth your time. And if you've got the skills, I would definitely recommend the traverse to North Pioneer Peak, because it was a fun traverse, if not extremely dangerous. That rock is very loose, and either you'll push a rock onto somebody else or tear a handhold out, so just be careful.